we played him in Vegas 3 years ago when Marissa was a sophomore, and I didn't know him or anybody on their staff before then, but you know, just getting to know him just a little bit there, and then being able to talk to him on the recruiting trail, and once in a while just throw an email at him. You know, it's impressive. I think it. And tonight was a great experience for our players to get to play in that environment, and you know, I've said this before, we don't get to do that enough in women's basketball. I think it's, you know, I've been at Creighton 25 years, and you know, that's one of the things that you know, is really impressive to me is how some programs can get to the point where they can get 6,000 or more for a women's basketball game, and I think that's great. And you know, it starts with you know, getting the players to get the community to come out. But it was you know, it was a great environment to play in. We didn't get off to a great start, which is fairly typical for us. So I didn't feel like we were in a position we hadn't been in. We've trailed 9 times at half this year and won, which is one of the things I love about our team, is that we're resilient and we compete and we fight. And tonight was no different. We, you know, we played from behind the whole night, but we were never out of the game. And you know, Marissa and Sydney and our seniors have won. They do so many things that make my job easy, because they police the team, and they've done such a great job of making our team a competitive team inside the locker room, onto the practice court, and then when you get out in that environment, it translates. So, but we played from behind the whole game, and that's tough to do, especially against a really good team in a tough place to play. And we got close to coming over the hump. I thought the end of the first half was huge. We had it to 7 with under a minute to go, and we went into half down 12. They had the ball to start the second half, and you know, I mismanaged the last minute. That was, but they hit a 3, and then we gave up. You know, we should have had the last shot, and we gave up a couple points there. So I think that was big, because if we go in down 7 after the start we have, I think there's just a little bit different mindset. But you know, they did a great job taking away the 3-point line, for sure. And having said that, we missed some ones that we maybe normally would hit, but you know, I didn't feel like we were going to win if we could only make 2 threes. They're too big inside for us to feel like we could do that. But you know, Riss made some shots going to the basket, and Sydney, I thought, was really, really good going at the basket. I thought she made a lot of really strong plays, mid-range and to the rim, and was just really solid. But overall, we just didn't hit enough threes. And then once we got behind and we have to go small, then you see what we can't do from a rebounding standpoint. We open up the floor more. We had an opportunity to get a few more open threes when we went small, but we had a hard time rebounding. So, and that was what I thought would be a key. Can our ability to stretch them out, playing smaller and making threes, overcome their likely to beating us up on the glass. So that's what I saw.
Thank you, Coach, for the comment. Questions now for Marissa and Sydney. Please remember, raise your hand for the microphone. First question, name and media affiliation.
Kyle Odegaard with the Associated Press. Marissa, I was just wondering, how do you think this will help out next year's team getting to the tournament this year?
I think it'll help it a lot with experience and just like knowing the kind of game situations that get us there. We've been through a lot of adversity the last 2 years, and I mean last year they made a run in the tournament, and it was heartbreaking for that loss in the championship game, the Big East Conference tournament, and then this year to make it past that and to be able to play in the NCAA tournament, play 2 games in it, it's just that experience. And then I know that these guys are going to do a really good job of embracing, like with open arms, the girls that come in next year. And I mean, I believe that they're going to be back here next year.
Lindsay Schnell, Sports Illustrated. Marissa and Sydney, can you speak a little bit about the environment, what it was like? I know it was a pro-Oregon State crowd, but still, like Coach said, a lot of people to watch women's basketball.
I mean, Marissa even said before the game, she's like, take advantage of this. Yeah, they're not rooting for us, but it was just an awesome experience, and we wouldn't really want to be playing anywhere else. It's awesome to get fans like that, and I mean, it's a great atmosphere to be playing in.
I remember playing at Tennessee my freshman year in the second round of the NCAA, or first and second round of the NCAA tournament, and I like vaguely remember that. And then like this was just unreal. Like this crowd was crazy, and I mean it was in the best way. Like I mean, well, the best way would have been if they were all Creighton fans, but I mean it's an experience that you just have to embrace, and you have to remember the rest of your life because you're not going to forget it, win or lose.
Next question, front center.
Well, yeah, Jonathan with the Omaha World Herald. Marissa, obviously I saw you and Coach Ruick kind of talk a little bit in the handshake line. What was he kind of telling you? And I guess what does it just mean after the difficult decision you made last year to, redshirt that season and to come back and be able to make the tournament this year? I mean, what is that? How was it the best way to kind of go out?
I mean, I definitely didn't want to end my career on just 6 games and a broken leg and like that. So for me to get a second chance at a senior season was just incredible. And Coach was just, I mean, we played against him my sophomore year, and he was just kind of saying how he's been following my career, and like we have mutual friends, and he's just saying how proud he was of me and how like hard I've worked and how I've deserved everything. And like to hear that from an opposing coach it means a lot. Like I appreciate it. I mean, I can't even like put into words how much I appreciate that. And I mean, I'm going to remember that moving forward.
Sydney, what was it like going against the other Sydney Weiss, and was she, as you guys saw her on film, or did she do anything different to you guys?
I mean, she's a great player, and she's really hard to guard. She's a really great crossover, and that step-back three is really good. And, I mean, I think we scouted exactly what she did today, but sometimes we were lacking on the scout, and, I mean, she played a really great game today.
When you hit that bucket with, I think, 6:40 left there, did you feel like you guys could make a run and you were just down 6 points? Did it feel like it was right there in grasp? And I guess just what was there, they hit that couple of big buckets right there in that middle.
I mean, yeah, we all looked at each other, and we even said when we huddled up, we're like, we can do this. This game is still ours. We've come back from deficits bigger than this with less time. When they hit the buckets, I mean, yeah, it kind of stung a little, but, I mean, I don't think any of us ever really gave up.
Any further questions for our student athletes? Ladies, congratulations on your season. Thank you. We now open the floor for questions for Coach Flanery.
Jim, I thought you guys did a good job limiting Weiss. She only took 9 shots, so was the game plan, let's make other people beat us? And did you feel pretty good about how you guys defended her?
Yeah, I thought we'd defend her well, and we did. I mean, we watched a lot of clips of Stanford. Stanford's really disciplined, and when they hit a screen or a handoff with her, they go over the top every time. And we showed them that, and then we wanted our post to give high help on the ball screen or the handoff. We recovered a couple times a little too early. We said, I'd rather have you stay too long and show too high than think you got to get back, because obviously we weren't guarding their bigs away from the basket. So what we were gonna live with was, their 3 bigs shooting 15 to 17 footers by staying longer with our posts on those ball screens. But we also wanted to have our guards be super disciplined. Every time you hit a screen, I said, you got to go over the top. And we showed them enough Stanford tape that I felt like, Marissa's a 5th-year senior, so she was on her the majority of the time. Sydney and Jalen guarded her a little bit, but I thought we did a good job. Like I said, I think maybe one time Marissa didn't keep working up after she got through the screen, and then one time her post left too early. But if you're going to tell me that she's going to end up with 13, I would think we'd have a a good chance to win. So.
Obviously, you guys have a couple seniors, but Marissa seems like kind of just the heart and soul of your guys' team. You know, just to kind of see the way that you guys kind of gritted through this game. I mean, can you just kind of just tell us, you know, what she meant to you guys and obviously Bree too? Yeah.
Sure. Well, you know, Marissa started our Minnesota pipeline. So she was the first, you know, kid really to commit from Minnesota, and now we've got a lot of kids from Minnesota. So just from a recruiting perspective, I think she's been good because she came here and has had a good experience, and I think that's helped us that way. But, you know, she's from the beginning, she's been her first game against Oklahoma, she was 0 for 9 in 15 minutes. And I thought that was a really good sign that a freshman would keep shooting after she was 0 for 5, 0 for 6, 0 for 7. And 2 games into the season, I think she was 0 for 4 or 5 against South Dakota State. She's like, can I redshirt? I'm not good enough to play this year. And I said, well, first of all, you can't redshirt because you've already played. This is my compliance officer over there. You already played and you're not hurt. And you're plenty good enough to play. I said, you're just pressing a little. And then by the end of that year, she was an all-conference player. So, you know, she's a two-way player. She's a really good defensive player. I've never really known if she's a point guard or a scoring guard. I mean, we've kind of moved her back and forth based on what the team needed, and she's been fine whenever we needed. And so that part is neat to see too, because it's younger players see that somebody who's had the career that she's had doesn't mind if we start playing Sydney Lamberty more on the ball her senior year, or we move Marissa around, and so that part's been neat too.
We have time for 2 more questions.
Could you just talk about, you're losing 3 senior starters. Could you just talk about the outlook for next season and the expectations for the program?
Sure. Thanks for that question. I'm excited. I'll tell you what, Sydney Lamberty played lights out at the end of this year. She really, and we put the ball in her hands more, but she was really good this last month, and she had a little bit of a wrist issue earlier in the year, didn't shoot it as well, and I didn't play with as much confidence, but she's been what you saw tonight is the way she's played lately. Jalen Agnew was the freshman of the year in the Big East. She's a really good two-way player defensively. And then Audrey missed a lot of shots tonight, and she's beating herself up right now, but Audrey Faber was a first-team All-League player. So we got, with those 3, that's a pretty good starting point. And then we've got some kids that are redshirted. Jade Owens was started for us at point guard last year, and redshirted this year with a hip injury. So we've got a lot back, and there's no question that this experience is going to help us next year from both. The more experiences that you have playing at this level and competing in our league, the more you can draw on. So just really proud of our team. I mean, we went 8-1 on the road in Big East games, and I think that speaks to how much toughness this team had, and I think that stuff carries over year to year. So excited.
Last question in the back.
Sorry.
Yeah, Coach, did number 11 Hansen, did her aggressiveness toward the hoop, and I think she had double-digit points in the first half. Did that come a little bit of as a surprise, and how much impact did that have?
Yeah, I thought she played well. I thought she was maybe the difference in the game. I mean, even though she had a really tough left-handed take late, where we kind of had put ourselves back in position, and she made another play. We probably should have had, and we probably should have had Sydney Lamberty on her earlier in the game. We put Lauren on her, thinking that because she hadn't shot it well, her 3-point shooting this year wasn't what we thought it could be, and Pivot has had a really good year, and we kind of let her get going. I mean, Lauren, we love Lauren Works, but she's not as good a defender as Sydney, and so from a matchup standpoint, we probably made a mistake. And when a kid plays well early, they're tougher to guard late. And I thought, to her credit, she made she made a lot of good plays, and I thought probably was the difference in the game. Yeah, so you know, you're playing probability. That's what you do when and you know, sometimes it's about somebody playing outside the box a little, and she played. I know she's a capable player, but you know, we felt like we could kind of stay in front of her with Lauren, and we couldn't.